Hi, my name is Rick Sanchez. I'm with a company called Tractor Tip, and what we have for sale here today is a Komatsu WA250-5 PT. PT stands for Parallel Lift Tool Carrier. Serial number is A7906, and I'm going to leave that last digit blank. A parallel tool carrier is a machine that's capable of carrying, it's like a wheel loader, it's like a skid steer, a huge skid steer. Anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about the mechanics of this particular machine, the first clip, the operating specs in the second, we'll run it in the third. Price on a new machine like this these days, equipped the way it is probably 150, maybe 160 grand, I don't know. As far as manufacturers go, Komatsu is pretty ubiquitous out there. They're number 2 in the world of heavy construction mining equipment. That's not because they're cheap. They build probably, in my opinion, one of the best products out there. The weight of this particular machine is 25,200 pounds. The widest point are these tires right here, which are 8'1" wide. This bucket is actually 8'9" wide, but if you're transporting the machine, you can put the bucket parallel with the loader and still be under width. At least in the state of Texas, you can. The transportation height to the top of that cab is 10 foot 8 inches. Transportation length from the front of this cutting edge all the way to the back of that counterweight is 24 feet. Comparable machines out there are like a Cat 928G, John Deere 544, maybe a Kawasaki 65Z, and a Volvo L70. As far as the history of this unit goes, this machine, like almost all the machines we purchase, is an original owner Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas machine. It's got no rust on it. Now you'll see surface rust here where it's been scratched and, you know, the counterweight and whatnot, but that rust is in no way, shape, or form pervasive. This is essentially a rust-free machine. We're far enough south and 300 miles from the ocean, so the only salt we see is the salt on our kitchen tables. This unit comes from a large, well-organized contractor here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It had an excellent maintenance program. We've bought a lot of machines from these guys, and I mean a lot, like quite possibly in the millions of dollars, and we've been happy with all the machines we've purchased from them. And it should be said that before I buy any machine, I have my mechanics thoroughly inspected, and if the money's right on that particular machine or group of machines, then I personally go out and inspect them before I write a check. I don't buy anything sight unseen. Me and a couple of my men look at them before we buy. As far as options go, this machine is an enclosed cab machine. The AC blows ice cold in it. Heater works just fine. It's got a coupler here, as you can see. It's got auxiliary hydraulics, so you can put a broom on this thing. You can put a milling machine. You can put a breaker on it. There's all kinds of tools that you can put on this machine. You can put a set of forks. We got a set of forks over there. You can show them things. We'll get to those forks here in a little bit. Inherently, with all loaders, it's a 4-wheel drive unit. Another option on this machine is that it's got a hydraulic fan, and what the benefit of that is that you can swing the fan out of the way to get to, you know, your transmission cooler, your radiator, your oil cooler. You can get to it front and back pretty easy to clean it out, which is a nice feature. It's also got in the cab, it's got a It's got parallel lift capabilities, and it's got a remote transmission control at the joystick, and it's got a 12-volt outlet in the cab also. So what the parallel lift is that you flip a switch in the cab, and because this machine is a is what they call a Z-bar linkage, you can see the Z-bar in it. This machine actually, when you go to lift it, it rolls. The bucket rolls back and forth automatically without you having to do anything. So what the parallel lift does is, if you have these set of forks, these forks will stay parallel to the ground. You know, it won't roll like if you're unloading pallets or whatever. So that's another option on the machine. This machine has got a 48-gallon fuel tank. They're really great on fuel, these Komatsu loaders. You can get anywhere from 14 to as many as 18 hours of run time, you know, depending on your application, on a single tank of fuel on 48 gallons. This engine is an SA6D 102E engine. It's a very common Komatsu engine. They put it in a lot of machines. All the fluid levels on this machine are where they should be. This machine is mechanically sound. There's no leaks. The transmission runs through all the gears without any hesitation. Top speed on this loader in forward is 24 miles an hour, and I think it's 24 miles an hour in reverse also. The brakes stop it on a dime. With these Komatsu loaders, I don't think they've ever sold a set of brakes for them, because they're just they're a hydrostatic drive machine, and if you call me, I'll give you the details on that and why that's significant, but I'll save the boring stuff for somebody who's actually interested in it. You can see these tires up here in the front are 95%. They're in excellent shape. And the tires in the back here are about 65%. These are 20.5 R25s. The hydraulics are strong on this machine. That articulation joint right there is good and tight. There's no deflection at all in it. There's no cracks or welds anywhere in the work equipment. So you can see here, we just turned this cutting edge. So the cutting edge is 100% on this side. This bucket right here is 8 foot 9 inches wide. It's 4 foot 1 inch tall, and it's 3 foot deep. It's about a 3-yard bucket, maybe 3 1/4 yard heaped. The loader hinge pin height, this hinge pin right there, if you were loading into a dumpster, is 12.5 feet. The breakout force is 28,000 pounds. And the lifting capacity on this loader, and I probably need to explain that, the lifting capacity on this loader is limited by its static tip load, and that, simply stated, is that the hydraulics on this machine are so powerful that the machine will actually tilt forward before the hydraulics give out. So the lifting capacity is actually limited to the weight of the machine behind the fulcrum of this axis right here, which is 21,000 pounds, but you know, it'll safely tote around probably 15,000 pounds. I guess that's about it. We're gonna run it in the next clip. Okay, so this is the inside of the cab here. You've got 1, 2, 3, and 4 as a transmission selection. Basically, this is an automatic transmission, so if you have it on 4, it'll automatically shift up to 4, and automatically it'll go up to 4. If you put it on 2, it'll only go up to 2. If you put it on 3, it'll only go up to 3. Now if you have it on 1, it won't go past 1. And then this is your variable shift control only for the first gear. This traction control right here, you want to always have this off. It's kind of like running in 4-wheel drive all the time, unless you're in snow or whatever. This is that switch that I was telling you about. Up is bucket, down is forks. This is, I think, your hazards or something, and this is your dump speed, slow and fast. This is your hydraulic coupler disconnect. This is your forward and reverse for your transmission. This operates your auxiliary hydraulics on your bucket. This toggles you back and forth in your screen right here. This is your, I believe that's your hazards. This is your windshield wiper. I don't even know. Yeah, that's definitely your hazards. And these are your work lamps here. So I'm going to go ahead and start this. Show you that all the lights and everything works. There's no error codes. Now this we had to replace this monitor, so it's not showing any hours. There's your fuel, brake. Here's your emergency brake. There's your seat. Your view. You get a really good view. That's one of the things I like about this loader, is that the view, you know, when you're disconnecting the forks or your bucket, you've got a really good view of what's going on.